Yeah, I'm ballin' in this bitch. Yeah. Money stay callin' in this bitch. We ain't worry about none, we celebratin'.
You don't know.
Weird.
What's up?
What's
What's up? Hey,
How y'all
we
doing?
out here. You doing good?
There you
Hey,
go.
Let's go. Let's go.
33 joints already? Oh, the comments is lit.
Welcome in, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. We are on episode 15 of PulseNation, joined with a legendary guest, Tobi HEX, as a matter of fact. He has been killing the game, crushing it on this TA, letting everyone know the ups, the downs, where we're going, where we may be going, all that good stuff. And it's, guys, all this is information. At the end of the day, take it all in, all the information you can gather, and make your own investment thesis at the very end, because none of us are financial advisors. So you got to figure out your own way to make your own decisions, but this is all great information. Welcome on, Tobi. How you doing, my man?
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on. Fun to be on with you guys. It's
Of course.
we were joking with ATX in the green room. It's like me and Westcott are gonna get you canceled, bro. Today's the day. It's like this channel is no more.
Oh man, it's gonna get crazy. Man.
So
yes, sir.
But yeah, it's like, I mean, for your viewers that may not know me, it's like I've been around since before HEX launched. It's like I got in on day 2. Like short version of my backstory, it's like I got wrecked day trading stocks in the 90s, so I learned some stuff then, and then I got wrecked again doing crypto in like 17, 18. Climbed my way out, learned some TA and trading, and then in the middle, I found Richard Hart in like May of 18. Got in, started just gorging myself on his content because I'm like, this guy's legit. Right. And like really feels sincere and is speaking some truth and some stuff I'm not hearing anywhere else. So it's like he really caught my attention. And I had actually DM'd him because I was just so impressed with my first stream I saw him on, and he replied. And it was like a really thoughtful reply. Like it's like it was referring to like my brother passing away, and I was kind of having like this existential crisis, like trying to figure shit out. And then I stumbled across Richard, and he said some really cool shit. Wow. And he said like it wasn't just like a standard like, hey, thanks for watching the stream, right? Bullshit. It was like he put some thought into it, and it was a really kind-hearted thing. And I'm like, dude, I'm a fan for life. It's like you hooked me, bro. And then started watching that. He was talking about doing the CFD token, which was like, if you guys may remember, it was like this computational fluid dynamics. Super smart idea. I would love to still see somebody try to flesh that out. And then that all kind of morphed into Bitcoin HEX, and then obviously into HEX. So I was around early in the Telegram days. Still am, just not as active. I was actually made an admin. And then me and Nenad in particular got together and made an admin group for the admins, so we could have a more unified effort to try to control like something that's basically uncontrollable. Yep. So Richard, started that group for us to get all the admins under one roof to try our best, because that is a tough job, and those admins are still in there grinding it out. I don't know how. So like before Twitter Spaces popped off, it's like it was HEX voice chat and then PulseChain voice chat. So we were in there holding it down, me and Kareem and Papa B and Funding Jim and Walrus and so many guys in there just 24/7, trying to answer people's questions, trying to like keep some control on the narrative so we could combat the FUD and like teach people the fundamentals. And then that was kind of, not to like break my arm, pat myself on the back, but it's like I was part of like that foundation, right? Oh yeah. Wow. And then from there, like Twitter Spaces went wild, and Telegram kind of fell off. And to be frank, it is kind of a shit show over there. That's a hard place for a noob. Twitter's rough enough. And it's like, but it's like it's just grown exponentially, and it's like we were saying before we came on, like the next generations of streamers and content creators and people that are educating. It's been so awesome to watch, like us old guys like get a break and like let the young bucks run with it and like go do your thing, man. So I'm I'm real selective with like who I come on with. It's like I'm like a legit fan of ATX's work and like what he's doing. Westcott, of course. It's like I'm happy to say that Richard doesn't follow me anymore, but I was one of the first 150 people he followed, and he followed me for a long, long time. And then whatever, we're not going to get into that, but he unfollowed me. So, but Westcott, I was one of Westcott's first like 300 followers.
Yep.
I remember.
Wow.
And I'm like that, and it's like I got a good eye for talent, and I'm like that guy is fucking on fire, and
yeah, nice.
he is one to watch. And I was hoping you weren't like a one hit wonder. I'm like, man, it's like that was great, but like sometimes people only got one trick up their sleeve, right? And it's like they shoot their shot, and it's like it's great. It's kind of like me and my Hexaco video. Am I ever gonna make a video again? I don't know. Probably not. I'm pretty happy.
That was fire, dude. The singing was fire. The video, oh my god,
dude, that singer is legit. Like that singer, it's so funny because people think that was like. There's some people that think it's literally the Beach Boys. I'm like, nah, it's
Yep.
not
I
that
thought
good.
it was you, man. I thought it was you singing.
Nah, I was gonna do some stuff, like in some of the harmonies and stuff with him, but I'm just like, you know what? He's a pro. I'm not trying to like shoehorn my way into that
great.
shit. It's like,
Nah,
but it's his name's Ryan White Maloney, and he had been on America's Got Talent and The Voice. So he's got some proper chops, right? And then he was on Fiverr, so it's like I reached out and I'm like, hey, I changed the lyrics on this song. I'm doing this parody thing. I got this video idea, yada yada.
Fire song.
And yeah, I mean, it turned out all right. But it's like the point being is like, you know, not to again, you know, pat myself on the back, but it's like I got my one out there. I'm happy with it. But like when I saw Westcott, I'm like, man, I hope he's got more in the can and that he can keep doing these. And then it's like just churning them out, you know, and they're all great. And then collaborating with Freddie, like that was fire. And like I don't know, man. It's like, but I just love seeing the growth and the explosion of the community.
Hell yeah.
And I'm always appreciative of the opportunities to come on and talk about it, especially with an audience that may not have been familiar with kind of my take. And maybe, you know, I can help, you know, educate or entertain because it's like two sides of the same coin. Because, you know, I mean, if you're just spitting numbers like nonstop, that's just gonna work. It's like for some people, like I'm a spreadsheet nerd. Like I literally breathe, like live, sleep, eat, breathe, dream, Excel spreadsheet shit. And it's like, but not everybody's like that, right? And people will glaze over. So you got to punch it up and keep it entertaining. But then you got to balance it, or it's just like, you know, or you're just fucking off and having fun, which is fine too. But it's like you gotta, if you can get that balance, that sweet spot, then you can keep people engaged and they walk away actually learning something and interested in like learning more. And you know, that's my vibe. Right?
That's absolutely incredible, man. And you know, we definitely talked about it early on how, you know, streamer generation, and I'm curious to see who comes after us. You know what I mean? Like now that you talked about it, like we came after all the first gen, and you know, you look at it like who's coming after us, and you know, My Life is Awesome loves claiming the first PulseNation or PulseChain. We're PulseNation, by the way, but the first PulseChain channel, and I absolutely love that. And then it's just like everyone's going to evolve, and so I just love seeing how big the community is going to get, knowing where we're going. Because again, everyone's so focused on right now. How do you help people, or what do you say to people who are so focused on the now instead of looking forward in the future? Or you know, maybe they're stuck in the past. I don't know. It's a weird thing where, again, the past is behind you. The present's, you know, like I said, the future's in front. And again, the present's a gift, right?
Now, I know that I look fantastic, but I'm 51 years old, right? Wow. So I got some wisdom I would love to drop on you guys a little bit, right? I mean, not to try to sound like the guru on the hill, but fuck it. So, all right. So here's the deal. All right. What I see happening now is, and I think Sami really like numerically kind of put it into, you know, like quantified it, right? And said, hey, it's like if we took the market caps of like all of it, right? Like PulseX, Pulse, Inc., whatever, PHEX, EHEX. EHEX would be at 3.2 cents. Right. So effectively what's happened is everybody had like this bag of marbles, and then they started trading each other and got like, now we got 5 different colors. Big shit. You still got the same number of marbles. Maybe you got a few more than another guy, but all you're doing effectively is using the trader mentality, which I think is kind of, you know, not necessarily a long-term viable thing. I get it. It's in the game. But, you know, if I'm trying to get like more Westcott's, you know, pulse out of his bag to me by having him go fuck around with like, you know, a meme coin or some shit and like dangling some shiny shit. So it's like basically I can leverage up my position. Number one, that's karmically gross, and then number two, that's not viable long term for the community, and it's very just. I think it's kind of selfish, right? I think that mentality is kind of selfish. So the way that I see it is like, yeah, if you want to trade your own shit around a little bit, and number one, don't counter trade what you're talking about online. fuck you if you do that stuff.
Facts.
I know people that do that stuff, and it's fucking gross.
Yep.
If you see me talking about buying all the time, bro, I'll show you guys in the green room the receipts. It's like I'm buying all the time. I've never stopped buying. I've never cashed out a single hex.
Right.
And some of the other stuff I've gotten, you know, free airdrops, Pulse Doge from whatever to Hedron, some of that stuff I have sold. And guess what? I bought more hex with it. So it's like I literally have not taken profit on any of my crypto, none. And like people get all freaked out because they're like, oh man, this guy's just trying to like promote because he's got bags and, you know, he's dumping on our heads or whatever. And I mean, that's a small fraction because people that have follow me and been around a minute, they kind of get that I'm legit. So it's like, you know, it's not too many people that are coming at me sideways like that. But there is that mentality that the OGs are out there pumping and still shilling and doing their thing because it's like we're trying to raise the price to dump on you. Right. Here's some basic math real quick. If you are a mid-level dolphin, you could live a comfortable American lifestyle just on your Hedron bags.
Oh shit.
Like back when we were like in a reason, I mean, like the prices are down. It's like, you know, so maybe it's a little rougher, but like when we were maybe around 6 cents, I think. Yep. On hex. Right. Whatever we were around that time for Hedron, if you were a mid-level dolphin, you were making mid to upper 5 figures a year in dollars in Hedron. So if you can live comfortably on 50K a year, which, you know, I'm not like a super fancy guy. And if that's like, I mean, to me, that's why would you why would you kill the golden goose? Why would I get rid of my hex stakes that's generating this Hedron for me? Then you got Icosa, and then you got other free airdrops and all this other stuff. And you likely sacrifice for Pulse and PulseX. So you know what? The OGs are not who you got to worry about. It's the traders, you know, and that's kind of one
people
of the
who came in. People who came in during the 2021 end of 2021 timeframe. Yeah. That would be 2021, 2022. Whenever that bull market was coming, people are buying big bags back then too. You got to imagine.
Well, and they thought they were going to triple up. Like before big payday, they thought, man, hey, I'm going to get 3x on my shit right away. And then like the OA stepped in and like saved, you know, that potential death nail in the whole chart. And I think now, like just, you know, because I can get a little long-winded, so let me try to get to my point, my wisdom that I was going to sprinkle on everybody.
For sure.
Everybody's so focused on like that bleeding edge, like what's next, like what's coming, this is going to pull us all up. And I think broader market forces are going to kind of solve the problems for us. But in the meantime, we are a small subset of a small subset. Like crypto is not a huge thing, right? In the broader traditional finance markets, it's a small amount of money comparatively, right? And then we are a tiny little subset within that. So it's a relatively tight ecosystem, and that economic energy is just getting ping-ponged around, like I was saying before with the trading of the marbles, right? It's like maybe my bag of marbles is a little bigger than yours, but it's like we don't have more marbles, bro, until more people are coming to play the game. So what I would advocate for everybody is go back to basics. If HEX is not looking good on either chart, on the EHEX or the PHEX, because imagine you're trying to onboard your friend and you're like, hey man, PHEX, it's like, this is the one, this is what you got to do. It's like the fees are cheaper, bullshit. It's like, oh yeah, there's a couple extra steps to get in, but I'll walk you through it. It's all going to be good. And they're like, well, wait. It's like, well, what about that chart of, I mean, that's HEX, right? And that shit's down 98% and looks like it's never getting up. Oh no, don't mind that one. That's the old HEX. Don't worry about that. It's like, well, wait. It's like I was Googling a little bit and it's like, doesn't the same guy hold all those coins that holds all the PHEX OA thing? What's the OA? Oh wait. And then he's the guy that holds likely all the sacrifice bags and then most of the supply of Pulse and PulseX. Well, what? Like there's a disconnect. It's like, come on here. It's like you can't expect people to like, don't look behind the curtain. Just come over here and do this. Bullshit. And it's like, and Richard doesn't want that either, and it's not good for all of us. It's like if you've got and I mean this is a really crass way to put it, but I said it on Cabana the other day, and I'm like, you know what? It's like you got this family of kids, and you know we were talking about disc golf earlier. Vitalik's out playing disc golf, and he's got these metal fucking discs. He fires one, it goes off target, and it clunks one of your kids in the head, and now he's fucking retarded. So now your kid, so that's EHEX, right? So now it's like Richard's like, you know what? We're going to put him in the basement because it's like, you know, nobody really wants to fuck with that. My other kids are super athletes. So we're gonna just focus on all of them. Don't worry about Jimmy in the basement. It's like, he got dinged by Vitalik's, a high gas fee frisbee throw. And now, we're just going to look at this other stuff. It's like, it's family. It's family, right? So it's like, you got to, it's like, he's a little goofy now. He got dinged in the head, but he's awesome. And he's got, here's all these other attributes about him that are good. And, maybe he's not, running the 40 as fast as his brother anymore, but, he's still part of this family. And it's like, we all rise together. So it's like, so that's
that.
And so it's like how many people know about a staking ladder, right? How many people know about DC, just the basic shit, like how HEX works. And like the one that I promote all the time, and it's, God love K, but it's more, he was kind of doing his own thing, but it's more or less a ripoff of Bree's spreadsheet. Bree is an old school contributor to Telegram, been around forever, and I consider her a friend of mine. She and Juan Fernandez had the spreadsheet they were working on. They gave it to me. I'm looking at it. It's what opened my eyes to the power of T-shares.
Yep.
And, people have been around a minute, might have seen that thing getting circulated. We talked to K-E, I think he's British, and another developer about webifying it so people could see what we saw. Like, man, this is crazy. Like, why should you stake beyond 10 years? Like, if that's the max T-shares you get, why does it make sense? And then when you do it and you can compare like a 10-year stake to an 11-year stake to a 12-year stake, just the exponential impact of those T-shares later down the line, it's such an eye-opener. It changed my entire staking behavior. I started like just tearing shit off the walls to sell it, to buy more and more and more, because I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. And he created stakehex.today.
Yep.
So if you go to stakehex.today and you can paste in your address, I wouldn't connect to anything. But it's like paste in your address. You can see all your stakes and see what you're looking at for, and you can mess with a little slider, shows you what price you think it'll be at, and flatten that shit out to where HEX never gets above 10 cents. Just flatten it out. And then look at what a longer staking ladder does for you. Yeah, it is mind blowing. And it's like, you can't describe it on a stream. People got to go and play with that website, and then they get an idea. But that's the kind of stuff that I think is getting lost in the shuffle. And that is the foundation of our giant pyramid scheme, right?
Right.
So if we don't have somebody down there like doing some tuck pointing and stuff on the mortar, and I'm old, and some of us other guys are old, it's like we can't be down there like shoring up the foundation while everybody's racing to the peak where the exciting shit is. It's like the foundational stuff, right? It's like that's that.
Well, the easy way to put it, it's like the last, this isn't even true, by the way. This is just one way for people to think about it. So in a staking ladder, when you go out to a 15-year stake, those last 5 years earn as much, if not more interest than the first 10 years combined. Okay? Let me say again. So the last 5 that you can stake right now today, lock in that T-share, gain as much, if not more, from the first 10. Because the power of the T-share is absolutely wild, and it continues to go up and up and up and up. And yes, the price of HEX can do its thing, but the payout per T-share goes up and up and up and up and up. And so that's where you get that compound interest calculator coming through, where it's just like, bam, those last couple of years, you can maximize, and crush everything from the first 10. Everything that you did, even in the last few, if not the last couple, get absolutely wild. And they have all different calculators that show this to be true. So if y'all haven't seen it, definitely check out stakehex.today. Big fan of that website, big fan of the developers who make it. Fun information out there for everyone. But yeah, definitely just check it out, guys. Learn some freaking T-shares, man. That's what, I see everyone crying, complaining, bitching, moaning, whining, whatever the case may be, doing anything they possibly can, scaring themselves out. You are not staked then, you know what I mean? Or you just... I don't know. I don't. It's so crazy when I hear people freak themselves out. It really is, because I look at it and I'm like, man, if you are staked and you truly understand how staking works, you're not worried. You're not worried. That's the power of staking. It's like weight lifted off your shoulder. This burden, this unknown, all this stuff. It's just like a weight lifted off your shoulder, and then everything else, icing on top, man. Cherry on top of that icing.
We must have a lot of new people as well, because it's like, if you were here for the past 2 years or so, or even like a year and a half, you'd kind of understand how this works, and that, investments take time. And like literally PulseChain just launched like maybe days ago, And it's like, guys, relax. Like, our time is coming. Our turn is coming.
Yep.
You know, sometimes some people already won. So, you know, they're having fun. They're degenning. They're gambling, whatever. If you didn't, don't be selling your bags to pay little credit card bills and whatnot. You know what I mean? Like, go to work overtime, do what you got to do. But don't sell the golden goose. Hold on to that thing, man. That's all I'm saying. But
Hey,
Tobi,
you want a real life example of like how not to play this game right now?
Yeah.
And we all did this. I mean, not all of us. I mean, there were some smart guys that were just like saw the value and maybe just had like deeper pockets and were like, fuck it, and like just aped in. I was putting in like an ETH a day, like from day 2, right? And back then ETH was only like $150, so don't get excited, right? So it's like, but as the price went down, this Richard Hart guy is pretty charming. He's pretty intelligent, and it's like, I like the design of everything, and I looked at the code, and you know, I understood it as well as most, I think, but he didn't have a track record of having been a creator and having a successful token in the past. And it was scary when we were getting near all-time lows. Yep. So I started scaling down. I did buy on the all-time low day, but I scaled back and only did 1/10 of an ETH. So I look back and I'm like, motherfucker, it's like I put in $15. Seriously, Tobi, you couldn't have put in $50 that if you couldn't scrape together $100 that day of all days, you pussy. But it was scary times, man. It's hard to buy when there's blood in the streets. Here's the difference though. Now we got a guy that's got a track record, had a coin that did exactly what he said it was going to do, and we hit all those crazy all-time highs, did a huge sacrifice that's never been done, did the system state copy, Ethereum 2.0 fork, and rolled it out.
Yep.
All of it's working as intended, and it's basically now we're going to ride out that low period just like we did with HEX in the first 4 to 6 months, and then look at the HEX chart. That's all I gotta say.
Your conviction isn't there right now after everything that Tobi Wan just said right there. Did y'all hear that? Did you hear that?
They dealt with a zombie virus on top of that and held through that. Like,
still, right? No doubt.
I don't know how y'all held that, because I would have sold out. I would have been the guy that was crying about he shouldn't have sold his HEX. I would have straight up. But because you guys went through
it, I got that video.
Why'd I sell my HEX?
That would have been me. That would have been me, bro.
Right.
I saw what y'all went through, and it's almost like you guys. I don't want to say, people might take this the wrong way, but you guys kind of died for our sins.
Right.
Like, not all of you, because a lot of you made it, but there's people that like the guy who cried who sold his HEX. I got to see him mess up so that I don't have to with this situation we got now.
Right.
So it's bro, I'm comfortable. I'm chilling. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's like, and that's the thing. It's like zoom out. You know what I mean? It's like zoom out, relax. It's like, and just the FUD is never ending. It's just a different flavor every week, and it's like, and that's never stopped. I mean, if you want to go back. Like, go back and look at some old Twitter threads and stuff and see the FUD that was going on around the early days of HEX. It's like, it was pretty fucking brutal. And it's like, and there were even streamers that were getting like RG3 got death threats and shit. It's like people were coming in hot, like just hated all of us for, just even talking about it and like what idiots we were. And then it's like, so I mean, it's just a cycle, and it's gonna be a minute, for like, we're not getting a V-shaped recovery. This isn't the COVID dip. Everybody needs to fucking relax. It's like, is the bear over? Maybe, but does that mean we're going? We're doing a 10x tomorrow?
Right.
Come on, get real. Exactly. It's like it's gonna be like a little slopey bottom, and then the confidence is gonna rebuild the market. Stock market's gonna start doing better since the interest rates are cooling off. And then where's that money going to go? They're going to look for risk on stuff. They're going to start looking back to crypto. Crypto's going to start popping off. And then everybody that was like shivering and shaking in their shoes and should have been buying the red candles are going to FOMO those green candles. And that's going to be the tsunami, right? That takes us through the halvening and then, to 6 months beyond the next all-time high. So the next 12, 18 months are going to be bonkers. And I mean, I'm still buying. It's like, I'm retired, but I've got like some passive income streams. And it's like, and not financial advice, but it's like, I've taken out loans. It's like, don't do that.
So
I mean, unless you have like a really sound financial plan, and you can see that, okay, it's like, I took out, I mean, I remortgaged my house at one point. Like I sold my house I paid my house off years ago, and I'm like, dude, it's too good. It's like before big payday. It's like, I'm silly, but I'm going to mortgage my house. And was one of the best decisions of my life. Was
Wow,
able to
dude.
pay that mortgage off and then mortgage it again, right? And then recently
Wow.
I took a loan, and it's like, but I spaced it out, and I'm like, I can afford these payments for like until they're paid off, right? I mean,
Oh, man.
without having to sell any of my HEX, right?
Right.
And
That's so dope.
and so it made sense for me to do it. So it's all relative, you know. And and with the interest rates being what they are now, it makes that a harder proposition. I'm definitely not advising people to borrow money to buy crypto. That's
Right.
that's kind of crazy. That's definitely
Right.
edge case. But you know, if you've got the ability to dollar cost average in at these levels, just like, I mean, I'd have to go back and do the math, but like I'm telling you, that $15 or whatever I put in on that day, that was hundreds of thousands, if not millions of HEX
Oh, wow.
for 15
Wow.
bucks because
Wow.
I caught the all-time low. And it's like at these levels right now, it's like, how many HEX can you get for 10 grand? How many HEX can you get for $1,000? What can you get? Like, where's it at? PulseX.
Yeah, PulseX. Yeah, I mean, for what? For HEX on PulseChain or HEX on Ethereum? Or are you talking about PulseX?
I mean, you can see them both on PulseX. So let's do HEX on Ethereum. So like for $1, let's go for $1,000. You can get
130,000.
130,000 HEX. 130,000.
It sounds funny now, but in 2 years, that's gonna be, people are gonna wish they had that. You know?
Okay, and just to like give you an idea, like at all-time high, that's $65,000.
Exactly, and people were buying that, y'all. People were buying that. Even at
That's
30
$65,000.
cents, cut that in half. You know what I mean? That's
That's
still $30,000 that it would cost you right now for something that cost $1,000.
Yep.
Guys, listen to this. Do the math on this.
Yep.
This is
And
how
it's-
it makes sense.
Yep. And then the other thing too is like the contract's the contract, right? And it's like I'm not an EHEX boy, I'm not a PHEX boy. I am a HEX guy, right? It's like the contract is the same on both. And you watch, all right? Think about this. If somebody's leaning real hard one way or the other, they probably got a dog in the fight. I'm sorry, but my skeptical red flag radar is going off hard. If somebody's telling me that EHEX is dead and you got to get PHEX, get the fuck out of here. It's like you got to... No, it's like I'm not doing that shit, man. It's like it's not it's disingenuous bullshit, and I hate that. So it's like the reality of it is, unless they're just stupid and they're lemmings and they're going with the herd, and then like there's some other guys kind of pulling the strings and lining their pockets and you know, counter trading the idiots they got following them. But whatever. I'm not saying everybody that's talking, you know, strongly in one direction is like that, but just be
Majority
leery.
of people, you should be you should at least look at it from a possibility of that being the case.
Right.
It's not a non-zero. You know what I mean? It's a non-zero scenario, right? There's a chance that they have an ulterior motive for what they're saying, and you need to try to figure out, are they trying to get you under their ulterior motive to sell your bag so that way they can buy lower, or do they genuinely mean what they're saying right now? And either way, don't think everything's face value that you see, y'all. Think for a second. Use your freaking mind. You have a mind for a reason.
Yeah, and ask questions. Ask questions. There's like good people out there that are gonna come and give you the straight scoop. There's people like me. You can DM me on Twitter. You can DM me on Telegram. It's like, bro, I talk to people all the time. I work more now than when I worked. Like I retired in July, and it's like this is like a full-time job for me. I've never taken a nickel from the community for anything. I've given away like over 500,000 HEX just to family and friends and freaking random people on Twitter. Don't come asking me for crypto. I will block your ass if you ask me. I don't like beggars, right? But I have been known to be generous. And mostly with my time, you know, it's like I've talked at the HEX conference in Vegas in person, talking about estate planning and tax preparedness and tax mitigation strategies, and you know, there's so many layers to this. It's like, and I think what should be exciting for people is think about this. All right, right now, we're in it's pretty bleak times, and people get emotional, and it feels like gloom and doom. And bro, trust me, I guarantee you, I have lost more money on paper than like a lot, like maybe anybody watching this stream. Right? So it's like if I'm still smiling, it's like, you know, that should tell you something. But it's like, you know, making the money is only half the battle. So
can you dive into that a little bit more?
Yeah.
I go into this and I discuss it on every single stream, and I really think everyone needs to understand the importance of this, because if y'all are going to hold for 100x, 500x, 1000x, 10,000x. Listen to what he's about to say right now.
Yep. So one thing in particular that I got turned on to by some highly respected, John Wick in particular, in the community on Telegram, turned me on to it. And then I talked to Maddie about it, talked to RG about it. So it's like, some definitely alpha OG guys. Is a company, it's called Rocket Dollar. If you go to rocketdollar.com, if you look up on Twitter, if you look up Rocket Dollar Tobi Wan, you'll see a stream where me and Kinetics actually had the CEO, or actually I think CIO or CFO, something. Right. Okay. One of the upper level Rocket Dollar guys on, and then also a guy from ErisX, which is an exchange that's now owned and called the CBOE exchange, right? Right. And it's owned, I think, by the CBOE. So anyhow, those guys are on there talking about this particular thing, and essentially it's a self-directed retirement account. So for me in particular, it's a self-directed Roth. The idea behind a Roth is that, typically you invest in it, you don't get a write-off like you do with a simple IRA, but when you're 59 and a half, whatever it's grown into, you can take that out tax-free. With a simple, you're paying your tax on the back end, so you're paying taxes on the gains at the end. So people that might not be familiar, play this on half speed later, come back if I'm going too fast. But it's like on a simple, the idea is that when you're older, you're going to be in a lower tax bracket. So when you make those gains, you're going to be paying less tax, and it's a savings plan, right? Encourage people to do it. That's why the government lets you take a write-off for whatever you're contributing to a simple. A Roth is kind of flipped on its head. You don't get any tax benefit now. But the benefit is on the back end, anything it's grown into. So let's say, that $15 I put into HEX was now worth, $10,000. Then I don't pay any tax on that gain if it's in that Roth IRA. Now, here's the kicker. It's like most retirement accounts, you can't do DeFi. You can do Bitcoin, Litecoins, like Ethereum, stuff like that. And sometimes it's not even the legit coin. It's like it's a derivative. It's like a grayscale situation, right? So with Rocket Dollar, you actually keep control of your own keys. It's like $300 to set it up, and then after that, I think it's $15 a month for them to like custodian it. But custodian's like in name only, because you keep your own keys. You have your own MetaMask, your own Trezor, your own stuff, right? You just tell them the public address of where you're putting your funds. And then what's going to happen is you're going to go ahead and, invest that in any DeFi. Yeah,
that's what I do.
That you like, right?
I have the same.
Yep.
Signed up for the same thing.
The dogs. I got mine put away. I thought he'd not be it.
Yeah, dogs are the best, this is one of the board and train puppies that we have here. His name is Luke. He's staying here while my wife trains.
Nice.
She had to leave right now, so she put him in here with me, so that way he doesn't tear up our house while we're streaming. And hopefully I got to keep the dog awake per the wife's request, so I'm going to work on keeping the puppy awake.
Definitely.
And dude, I did the same exact thing. And guys, you'll have to understand that that what you're looking at right now, people have such short-term vision. Such short-term vision, and I really do mean that genuinely with passion, that you have to zoom out, not only at charts, but at everything in life. Like, stop looking at what your position is right now and feeling whatever you're feeling about it when it's there. Because when we hit all-time highs, the euphoric feeling that you have is the same feeling. It's wild, it's crazy, you're happy, you're giddy, everything's crazy, and then the numbers go down, you're like, oh my God, it's wrecked, I'm gone, I'm done. No, the quantity of tokens haven't changed. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's the number went down. Cool, you get to buy more quantity of that token, and that's why doing stuff like setting up the trust and setting up the Roth and setting up these items to actually have an account in a different place where you don't even touch it until a certain point in time, and then you can withdraw it. Wow, that's absolutely incredible. I'm right there with you as well with the exchange and trust and all that good stuff too.
So Tobi, I wanted to ask you, man, like, did you make it before crypto, or this is kind of the cherry on top, or did crypto help you get to where you're at? I
mean, crypto's definitely made me feel a little more comfortable being retired at 51, because I mean, it's like I'm pretty pretty all right. I mean, I'm not like set. Like I'm not like Lambo set, but I'm not like a Lambo guy anyhow.
Gotcha.
But I got enough to, you know, to cover my bills for the rest of my life and take care of my fiance and I. And she's, you know, she works part-time because she wants to, not because she has to. So that's been really nice.
Gotcha.
And, you know, but basically my family started a business in the 70s. I worked on and off for them my entire life. My sister and brother and I kind of came on board more full time about 20 years ago, and really, you know, I mean, we went exponential. Like we grew the business pretty good, you know, and the timing was such that it was time to sell it. And it's like I was like, whoa, wait a minute, I got this on autopilot pretty much. It's like I've got really good people in place. It's a really nice income.
Right.
You know, I still want to be buying crypto at the levels I used to be buying crypto. And it's like, we're going to sell it now. But it's like, but the timing couldn't have been better. So we sold it. I was able, you know, now I'm able to spend more time with my parents. They're in their 80s. We just got back from the Smokies. We went down to the Great Smoky Mountains for vacation for a few days, which was great. Ran into Maddie. He happened to be down there on vacation with his family, which was just a weird coincidence. So we got to see Maddie for a minute.
That's the way life works, man.
Yeah, it was strange, and but cool, very cool. And like my sister got to meet him. I was waiting for her to like fangirl out because she loves Maddie.
Right.
And she kept it together. You know, the weed might have helped.
But
it's
she
like
in crypto too?
Yeah, the weed always helps. You know, it keeps everyone nice and calm.
Yeah, right. It's like I stayed. I mean, like I was telling Westcott before he came on. It's like I used to, you know, dabble in all the things.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's like weed just makes me paranoid too often
here,
now. So it's like I just stay. I mean, I'll be like rocking in a corner, like thinking of all the bad shit I ever did my whole life, just like crying and thinking, oh God, no one thinks I'm funny. You know, am I gay? Oh wait, well, where'd that come from? This is weird. I got to get out of here.
Yeah, that reminds me of a little meme that I saw today. It was like dating in 2023, and so one of the first questions, have you always been a girl?
Yeah, right. No doubt. Yeah, the times, they are changing. That's for sure. So but in answer to your question, it's like, you know, we got out at a good time. You know, so I had a nice retirement from that.
Nice.
And then, you know, but part of my comfort level is knowing that I've got a really healthy HEX staking ladder, and now I've got that HEX staking ladder on 2 chains. And as far as like buying, it's like I don't want to sound like I'm leaning too hard just into HEX. I'm buying them all. It's like I'm using my judgment, and everyone has to do their own research. Not financial advice ever. I'm just a guy on the internet. I'm not professionally trained in any of this shit. I've learned a lot along the way. I feel like I'm pretty smart, but you need to do your own stuff. It's your money. You have to figure out your risk tolerance, how much money that you want to put into these kind of things, and, you know, and how you want to do it. And I mean, that kind of, you know, that's kind of why I started sharing my TA, because, you know, I think if you have some sort of knowledge about like where to expect support and resistance, then you can be better informed of when you're going to do your DCAs. You know, because I mean, it might not make sense at a certain level to buy every day, like literally dollar cost average, like daily. So, you know, if you can kind of pick and choose, you know, where a good dip is, then overall you're going to end up with a better cost average. And, you know, and people bust my balls like, man, you were buying at 7 cents. I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, I bought at 39 cents. What? You know what I mean? It's like, okay, what are we talking about? It's like, I'm using my judgment to buy when I think is a good time to buy. And then, you know, I mean, that's just the way to do it. And then the other piece too is like to assuage any kind of panic in the community. Because like when stuff starts falling, they're like, oh God, it's going to 0. I'm freaking out. And then it's like, nah, it's going to bounce at 7.3. And then all of a sudden it's like bing, bing, bing. And they're like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe this guy knows something. And I'm like, yeah, it's like it's TA. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy because traders are all looking at the same exact shit I am. So the reason it's bouncing there is because the traders know that's where the support is. So they're going to put their limit orders there, or they're going to set their alerts there, and they're going to come and buy. So it's not going to go below that unless there's a lot of sell pressure and there's not enough buyers to hold it up. Then we go down further, and then like, what's the next level? 623. How do you know that? Look at the chart history. You're going to see where those were supports and resistances before. So we're going to hit that level, and it's likely to be bounced. And now we're starting going up. Oh, it's moon time. We're going to all-time highs. It's no dummy. It's like we're below a penny. It's like there's going to be levels to this. It's like we're going to probably bounce off of 1 cent. Once we bust through 1 cent, what's the next level? So then that way people can like adapt their expectations. So anybody that gets it twisted and thinks like I'm doing TA because I'm encouraging trading, absolutely fucking not. I am trying to like keep people calm and keep them informed. And what I'm always advocating is DCAing. So I'm about the buy side. But if you want to try to scale out, it's like it tells you that too. Like here's some areas where we're likely to maybe pull back. And if you want to play that game, go for it. But here's the kicker on that, and this is where I kind of laugh at people that are like, haha, dummy, you bought it 7 cents, we're going down. And it's like, okay, bro, it's like I think it's 10 days.
Okay.
I think it's 10 days per cycle. If you weren't in Bitcoin, you missed like 98% of the gains.
Right.
Wow.
Which sounds insane, right? Because it's like in 4 years, you're telling me if like there were 10 days that I had dry powder waiting for a bigger dip, that I missed it all. Yeah, you missed it all, bro. You missed it all, because when the fucking pumps come, they are fast and furious, and you're on the sidelines waiting for a dippier dip coming, and it's like, and then who's laughing? You know what I mean? It's like, haha. It's like, okay, whatever. Good luck.
Right. Exactly. Now, as far as like onboarding friends and family, have you done it, and have any of them
Dude, my
given you
mom's
shit for it?
Do you know what? Actually, I think that I'm an exceptional onboarder, because I've gotten very little blowback, and that's because on the front end I've explained don't invest anything you can't afford to lose. And it's like, that's number one. Number two, this is a long-term game. If you're thinking that this shit's gonna make you rich in 3 years, maybe, but reality is it's probably gonna take a few cycles, and you're gonna see what the winners and losers are. And now we got options, right? So maybe it's like if to me, I think HEX is going to be a store of value. I mean, that's basically, I think it's the best store of value ever created. So most people don't want their store of value to be bouncing up and down crazy amounts, right? Eventually, I think we're going to level off, and we're going to get, maybe we level off at $1, maybe we level off at $3. I don't know. Over time, I think it's going to get less and less volatile, because that's the nature of a store of value. It's like people don't want the thing that they want to rely on for their retirement or their income stream to be bouncing around like crazy. So there might be better plays right now. Maybe Pulse is going to outperform. Do we do another 10,000X from here? That's only $70.
Yep.
That's possible.
Yep.
So it's possible, right? It's like, I mean, that's not crazy. $70 for HEX. Now, 1,000X, that's only $7.
Yep.
It's only $7.
I see both of those. I've done the math before too. Look, and it's exactly like you said. If HEX is gonna beat Bitcoin, and it is outperforming everything, and it is outpacing, guys, give it time. Let you see exactly how it plays out. But not only that, it took Bitcoin 13 years to get to 12 years to get 6.9 million X. Cool. Well, what if, for example, HEX could do it in 10 years? What if you got 6.9 million X from the bottom? That puts you at $386 per HEX, y'all. Per HEX. How many HEX could you get right now again for $1,000? About 160,000?
130,000.
130,000. Guys, multiply that number times $300. Just have some fun math. Have some moon math. Give you a reason as to why you want to be there. That's $39 million, y'all. For $1,000 right now for something that could be possible 10 years from now. Zoom out. Zoom out. Right?
And forget it. And like when you invest it, and that's the great part about a staking ladder. You can't touch it. You're going to wreck yourself if you got an EES. Or number one, make sure your security is on point, right? I started off like everybody else, like Richard said, I didn't need a hardware wallet. I'll just go ahead and set up a MetaMask on this. And I did it on a fresh computer. So, I mean, it's about as safe as it could get. But then over time, I'm like, oh shit, I need to get this over on a Trezor. And like Papa was just in my ear. Like I'm on the phone with Papa all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So he's a good friend of mine.
He's a hound when it comes to security.
He's terrible. He's so mean. But it's like the dad that's just like beating you to death, but he's trying to save your life, right? It's like, I mean, so I get the passion, and but it's like, get your security on point, but it's like, and then when you get that staking ladder, it makes you a diamond-handed person, whether you want to be or not. And it's like, and just like Maddie's thing that he's creating, the time pays me thing, it's like the whole idea behind it is it's keeping you from getting all lettuce hand, right? It's like, you don't want to be like, oh, I'm just so weak and frail. And it's not just when it's going down and you're like terrified that it's, you're going to lose all your gains or your money, right? But it's also when it's going up. It's like, you don't want to sell too soon, and how much fiat do you need, right? It's like all of a sudden you're like, oh man, I got $1 million. It's like,
right there,
okay,
y'all.
Yeah, it's like, I got $1 million in value. It's like, I'm going to sell it all. Well, you're a dummy. You're a dummy, because if it doubles like 4 more times after that, a good rule of thumb, and Richard said it. I mean, what's this whole thing? You could have sold on a double, sold on a double, sold on a double. dude, if you're going to sell on a double, sell half your bag. Sell half your bag. And then that way, maybe you pulled out all of your, well, basically at that point, you've pulled out all your principal. Yep. You put in $1,000, all of a sudden it's worth $2,000. Pull half of it off the table. Now, all your principal's off and you're playing with house money.
Yep.
Guarantee you, though, you will regret even selling half.
Facts.
As it keeps going up. So maybe scale out. Maybe scale out. Don't get fucking trigger happy and like get like button pushy maniac on the upside or the downside. So that's where staking saves you from all that, right? Because you're staked, and then you can look at it. And like my sister, she's into it. She's 12 years older than me. My mom's a Hexican. She's 84. Wow. Right? And they went in for like not small sums of money, and they're not bitching and moaning to me. They get it, my mom's a very savvy businesswoman. Her and my dad started multiple businesses over the years. Nice. And she's cool with it. I mean, she's down. My sister's down, but they're cool with it because they see that they've got way more HEX than they did 2 years ago. Just because they've got staking ladders and they know that and that's the whole thing. Like, this is like one of my like little prideful moments in the community. I've had the opportunity to be on stream with Richard a couple times, and maybe 3 or 4 times, but he actually gave me some kudos. And if you've ever seen Richard on stream with people, he's real selective to give you any approval. So if you got daddy issues, brace yourself when you go on with Richard, because he's not going to be patting you on the back. He's not full of attaboys. So this one hit for me, and it's like, and I told him, I'm like, people were talking about elevator pitches. And I'm like, the one that really resonates with people that I came up with is like, if you look at something that you're getting approximately 38% more of a year if you're staked for the average length. Yep. You're getting 38% more of that token per year. The price of that thing could go down approximately 20% a year forever. And your fiat value will not go down. Because you've got 38% more thing. So there's a hedge to the downside. Now, granted, we've gone down more than 20%, whatever. We're going to bounce around. But it also amplifies the upside. Because now when you're going up, you've got 40% more of the thing. So it's not like your bag just went up 10x. You're 10x on your bag plus 10x on the 40% more that you have. So it amplifies the gain, and it's a hedge to the downside. It's golden, and it keeps you from being trigger happy. So staking ladder. I can't say it enough. I got stakes that come out every 3 months. Then that way I'm not getting fidgety thinking, oh man, I better take some profit. Things are getting a little toppy. It's like, I got a stake coming out in a month. I'm good. I'll wait and see what's going on then. If I want to take some profit, that's the time to do it. Or if I want to, reallocate it into Pulse or PulseX or something else, then I got my options. And profit taking's in the game. There's no shame in like taking profit. It's like, why are we here? Until we can use until we can use HEX to to transact. It's like unfortunately you got to go back to fiat at some point, right? And eventually, hopefully, as more things are available to purchase with crypto, then we can get off the fucking fiat scam token sooner than later.
So let's talk about the staking ladder for a brief second, because I'm in the same boat, guys. Staking ladders are by far the best thing you can figure out for yourself in this whole ecosystem that we're in at this point in time. Look into the staking ladder. I cannot stress enough. Look into it. Figure out how to make this make sense for you, and then typically do them around dates as why they make sense: birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, so on and so forth. But when it comes to a staking ladder, so when people are first setting up, ideally you would want them, especially at these low prices, if you could, wow, incredible. You can set some amazing staking ladders right now. However, if you are looking to maybe just do 5 stakes, let's just say, for example, in the beginning, how would you do it? Do you recommend going based on cycles? For example, 2024, 25, then 28, 29, then 32, 33, right? And then so on and so forth. Do you recommend going like that and setting up the 5 cycles that way? Or do you recommend, every 3 years, if it's a 15-year stake and you just do every 3 years in that scenario?
The ideal scenario is make your longest stake first. Right?
Hey, that's what I always tell people too.
Yeah, because the T-share price is always going up, right? And it's like, I know, like in terms of dollars, it's not, but in terms of HEX, it is, right? Yep. And so, that's the thing I think I started mentioning earlier with my sister. It's like, she keeps getting hung up like, man, that stake was worth $80,000 and now it's $7 or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm just pulling numbers out of the air. But I'm like, no, I'm like, you can't. I said, but how much HEX do you have? How much HEX do you have now than from when you started it? Oh, wait a minute. So guess what? It's like, well, I bought it at this price. I said, okay, let's do the math. So when it goes up, do you have to be back at that price to be break even? Where's your break even now? Because you have X number of % more coins than you did because you staked it.
Right.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't have to go all the way back to 14 cents for me to be break even. Bingo. Now we're talking, right? So it's like, so as far as the staking ladder stuff, do your longest one first because, you know, the T-share rate's always going up. And then you're going to be earning on that one, like while you're fucking around for the next 15 years doing everything else. Then backfill it, right? So if you're going to do a quarterly staking ladder, which I think is a good one, because 6 months is a long time to sit on your hands, and you might get a little shaky if we're crashing or pumping like mad, and you might hit that EES button, and then boom, there goes a bunch of your yield, maybe even some of your principal if you're not paying attention, right? So if you end that stake, if it's not more than 50% complete, you're going to be cutting into your principal. So careful, right? So that's where quarterly I think really makes sense, because 3 months, it's like I can stand on my head for 90 days, right? It's like, you know, 6 months is kind of pushing it. So I would work backward. And then, you know, if you've got some trepidation, keep some liquid. You know, number one, I think I always keep about 10% liquid. I think that just makes sense. And then that way you have that available and you're not going to wreck your whole bag. Because 90% is locked away and staked. 10% is liquid if I want to, you know, try to sell into a pump. Or, you know, diversify into something else or whatever, right? And then backfill. And then if you're, you know, inevitably like my onboards, I'll tell them that. And then they'll be like, oh, I'm just going to do like a 1 year stake. I'm like, okay. And then without fail, all of them, even though the price is down, you know, over the last 2 years, all of them are like, man, it's like, I wish I'd staked for longer. Those short stakes are bullshit. And I'm like, right. So start with the long ones, backfill your ladder. Quarterly, I think, makes the most sense for me. You know, do your own research, figure out what works for you. If you're trying to time bull cycles, you know, crypto cycles, that's a little tricky. I mean, is it always going to play that way? Is it always going to be like 6 months after the halvening for Bitcoin? That's the top of the bull market? Maybe, maybe not. Do those cycles shorten over time? Do they lengthen over time? I don't know. Who knows that? You know, I mean, I can't predict that. So, I mean, even my sister and I, we were talking the other day. She goes, well, should I just stake it out till 2025? I'm like, maybe. I'm like, but how much yield are you going to make on that amount of HEX in a year and a half?
Right.
You know, so maybe do 6 months. It's a big enough bag to where the gas isn't going to eat you alive. So maybe do a 6 month stake and then reassess. And then that way, you know, you're not completely locked up when we're hitting all time highs and you're like, shit, man. Because it's like I had a big bag, like a big stake come out right at all time high. Had a limit order set like to sell. I mean, this is nothing new that I'm sharing here, so whatever. And my security's on point, and I got guns, so fuck off. So, but it's like, so the at the all time high, I knew because everyone was talking 10,000x, 10,000x, and they were saying that was around 52 to 56 cents, and I'm like, you're making it a self-fulfilling prophecy. Shut the fuck up. But like, I'm nobody, right? It's like nobody listens to me. It's like I've been grinding for 3 years. I got like 5,000 followers on Twitter, right? You know what I mean? So it's like, so there's other people that are bigger voices in the community that are like promoting this thing of 10,000x is 50 cents. I'm like, all you're doing is telling everybody to set a sell order at 50 cents, dummy. Like that's all you're doing. And I set a sell order at 50 cents, and then I took it down. Because it's like, wait a minute, PulseChain's coming, and do I need that money right now? No. And it would have been $10 million. I had 20 million HEX liquid at the all-time high. And then I thought it over, and I had my Trezor with me. I was traveling, I had my Trezor with me, and I'm like, you know what? I got a gap in my staking ladder 6 years out. Bing, threw it down the road. That stake has already earned like 9 million HEX. Already. And I've only got 3 years to go. You know what I mean? Or 4 years or whatever it is. I can't remember how far out it is. But yeah, but it's like, you know, that was, you know, in hindsight, it's like, oh man, you could have sold. Yeah, but who picks tops and sells bottoms? Nobody. And we had that other wrinkle in there of like, you know, the PulseChain's coming. So that kept people hanging there. Right. But
PulseChain, man, I love it. It's a love-hate relationship that I have just because of what it did to Hex and how people correlated it to Hex, like, or to PulseChain, like immediately. It was like as soon as it got announced, it was like that got correlated before it launched, y'all. You have to understand, before this whole liquidity, all this stuff got happened, this sucker was correlated. I've said that so many times on all the streams that
sucked, dude.
Way back in the day, and I'm like, damn, dude, Hex is so freaking amazing. It doesn't need to be correlated with anything, but you know, it is what it is. Let's move on. Let's move forward. I'm happy that I got the freaking Pulse. We're happy that we have PulseX now. It's gonna be better on down the road, but again, it's just something that you have to deal with because it is what it is. What are you gonna do? Go back and change it? No, you can't. So why does it matter?
Totally. And I mean, and I think that that's the thing too, that people, that's why I just want to beat the drum one more time. Like, back to basics, teach about a HEX staking ladder, teach about the power of T-shares, explain how all that stuff works, and like get people really solid on it and see how important that is. Go over to stakehex.today, play around with it, and then see, you know, what differing lengths of stakes can do. I was trying to find the original spreadsheet and I can't find it, and but it's like, it's pretty mind-blowing. StakeHex today pretty much shows you the same stuff.
Let's see if I have it, and if I do, I'll share it with you.
Yo,
yeah, you might.
And Tobi, man, I want to ask you, bro. So, like, what is your involvement in the movie for people who don't know, the Highest Estates coming out? And, like, what interested you in getting involved? Like,
well, basically, to be honest, like, what it was is that Pat and Grant had actually reached out to me early in because they knew, I mean, I talked about TA a lot even back then when the movie just started coming around. A lot of people had donated to the movie early on. There were some people that did USDC. There were some people that did HEX. So, excuse me. So they had a bag of HEX, and so they were asking me, like, man, it's like, you know, obviously we don't want to, but it's like, we need money. Like, we can't buy equipment and you know, produce the film with HEX. It's like, we need to convert this to money. You know, do you think this would be a good time to sell, or that would be a good time to sell? And I'm like, stake it. I'm like, don't sell it. I'm like, stake it, right? And it's like, and then when your stakes come due, hit me up, and then we'll talk about it and we'll figure it out. So, you know, and because I mean, I'm not going to advise them any differently than I'm going to do with my own bag. And it wasn't a huge bag. They wouldn't have hurt the chart badly if they dumped it all. And in hindsight, they maybe should have. But had they done that, they wouldn't have needed me. So so what ended up happening is, you know, the guys that had invested in the movie, they went through that budget, and then they got to the point where it's like, oh, we, you know, to get this across the finish line and get the finishing touches on it and have a marketing budget and do what we need to do, we need like another chunk of money. And then because I had established this relationship with Pat, and they knew that I was retiring and I was, you know, gonna, you know, have a little nest egg, they're like, well, hey, here's a guy that's not gonna have to sell HEX to like come help the movie because he's got fiat. So they hit me up and we talked about it, and, you know, my attorney looked over the contract and we checked it all out, and it's like, and it looked like a good thing to do. So now, just so you know, the movie business is notorious for losing producers money. So it is highly unlikely that this will be a profitable endeavor in that regard. But the way that we all kind of look at it is that it's about eyeballs on HEX and Richard and Pulse and teaching people about it. And ultimately, it's going to pump all of our bags. So, you know, maybe we, quote, lose what we invested to get the movie done. But since we're all bag holders, it's like, I feel like it's net positive.
You'll make it back. Yeah.
So I'm not sweating it. It's like, I'm not looking for, you know, a crown and a bunch of people like to hold me on their shoulders like I'm some, you know, angel investor or some shit. It's like it's a vested interest, right? It's like I want this movie to do well. So there's some cool stuff that's coming around the corner. I'll let the powers that be. We got a Zoom call coming up on Monday, so that'll be cool. To kind of get everybody on the same page with what the next steps are. But
have you seen it? Have you seen the movie?
Oh yeah. Well, I haven't seen the new ending. I haven't seen the new ending.
Okay. But you've seen it with the score and stuff, the music and all that, or wow, bro, is it intense,
dude? It's like goosebumps, like for real. It's like laugh. Almost cried at one point. It's like, holy shit, this is like a legit movie. Like this, like the production quality is like top notch, amazing.
Oh my God.
And
I
mean, really, really, really well done. I think people are going to be really pleased when they see it. And honestly, I feel like with the delays and everything, it's been, I think there's a lot of things in the history of HEX that have been kind of serendipitous. And I think that this is one of them. Like it's, us not having that movie out yet has worked out perfectly, because quite frankly, the ending of the movie was a little bit like, whamp, whamp. It's like, because nobody died.
Yeah, the whole build
You know what I mean?
Right.
Nobody went to jail. Nobody became. There was nobody but Richard that was a billionaire. It's like it was a little like lackluster for the ending. It was a little bit of a cliffhanger, but it's not like Tiger King, you know, where you got thruples blowing each other's brains out and stuff. It's like and arms getting ripped off and you know all kinds of weird shit. So, which is great TV, but I'm just saying.
Hey, dude.
Yeah.
I'm happy it got delayed because I was able to I might be in it at the end with the PulseChain launch. I was able to submit a clip and signed off on paperwork. I'm like, cool, like take your time with it.
I'm stoked, dude. I can't wait. And I mean, it's like I mean, my ticket was way more expensive than most, but it's like I'll get to go to the premiere. Right?
God damn it!
But it's like, but you can get a pair of tickets, and I think it's limited or what's it called, like highestofstakes.com limited edition or something. But go to highestofstakes.com. You can look there, and you can find where the box sets are still for sale. And I think there are 10. I think it started out as 10. There's probably only a couple left, if any. Where basically, I think it's $5,000, and you get the box set with all the goodies, and you get 2 tickets to the premiere. So that's going to be a baller event. It's so I'm excited to go. The box sets are super cool. I think I would check those out. Plus, as the bull market resumes, the prices on those boxes are likely to go up. So I think it's a bargain. Like the regular boxes are like $369, I think.
Right.
But they're pretty slick. They're numbered, and you get some pretty.
Yeah, you got Alex over here busting out the 55,000.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he got
Alex, man.
He got the number. He got the number
King
one
Kong.
box. He got the number one box
on that one, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
55,000.
Yeah,
$55,000 for the number one box.
Yeah,
so he got a private. He got a private viewing with RG3 and Big K.
Oh, that's what that was about.
Yeah.
Oh,
so they're in the movie. Like RG3 and Kinetics, or not Kinetics, but RG3 and Big K are in the movie. So they're some of the stars in it.
Nice,
So they, Alex, the directors, all got together and he got to see a private viewing of what it was at that point. But now we got the new ending, right? So it's like PulseChain launched, things are happening. So I'm excited to see it with the new ending, and then I'm really excited for everyone else to be able to see it, which I think is going to be soonish, finally. So I think that's going to be really cool. So and it's one of those deals where it's timing too, right? It's like do you want the movie to come out now, like this week? I don't. I wouldn't want it to come out right now. I mean, it's like do I want everyone to see it? Yeah, but it's like I think we're going to get more mileage out of it if maybe it's a couple months, 3, 4, 5 months when we start to when the bottom has been established and we're on our way back up. Well, and actually that just reminds me of one more thing. I'm sorry, I get so geeked out talking about this shit. No and then it's like, but here's the other thing too. I see some people complaining about the capital that's not been deployed that was sacrificed. All right. If anybody remembers Matic, right, and QuickSwap, what did they do with their liquidity farms? They incentivized HEX and other people to come over and play on their platform, and they were incentivized by giving them QuickSwap token. It's a good marketing maneuver, right? So I think inevitably we will have that same situation, whether it's Link or Aave or whoever he wants to incentivize with Ink token to come over, bond your shit together, your PRC and your ERC20, and in addition to that, you can farm it and earn this Ink token. But if you did it now, all those people are going to do is laugh at you, say thanks for the free money. They're going to dump it, and they're going to hop back over to Ethereum and shit talk on Twitter. That's it. It's a waste of capital. If you're the smart move. And it's like Papa and I talked about this last night. It's like, how is this not more common sense? It's like, how do people not understand? If I was whoever controls the sacrifice wallet, I would not fucking deploy that stuff now. No fucking way. No way. You're gonna get so much more bang for your buck if you let the market do what the market does. Richard's a baller. He moves shit, but he can't move the global economic markets. He's at the mercy of those cycles like everybody else. What he's great at is timing it. So when the timing's right, I have the utmost faith that dude's going to do what he needs to do to amplify all of the gains, right? And then we maybe are very well the ones that help lead the beginning of the bull run in a very significant way. So why everything else is kind of lagging and trying to get some feet under him. And then you see all these green candles and HEX, PHEX, PulseX, Ink token. It's like, what the fuck? and then people buy green candles, and then we're leading the charge, leading into that all-time high for the whole crypto space. 12 months, 18 months from now. But it's, do you want to wait and like try to buy in 12 months from now and like I'm gonna catch the top? It's like, dummy, I guarantee you we're going to be higher than all of this in 12 months.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be higher than this in 3 months, personally. So I think we're rounding out nicely, and it's like, right now it's like we got good. We're at 745 on HEX.
Yeah.
The way that the chart that I'm looking at, I can share the chart if you guys want to look at it.
Go ahead. Yeah, bring it up. Yeah.
Let me see if I can present. Sometimes it gets a little weird. Well, do it. There we go. Allow. Fucker. Nah, it's not letting me do it. Wait.
Yeah, look at all the prices around right now, and I'm just like, come on, man. Everything, no matter what you're looking at, everything is just looking juicy, bro. So I see it that way for sure, and 100% of what you're saying on that one for sure. And we got some questions from the community. I'm gonna throw your way real fast if you want.
Sure, man.
Knock them out real fast. So Dave 5656 says, family, I just bought 10,000 worth of PulseX. Where do y'all think I'm gonna be late 2024? So trying to get that little price prediction on that one. But let's just go and just say
higher than now. Yeah, it's I think you got a really good deal. It's like you're cheaper than people that sacrificed for it almost 2 years ago. So it's like, I'd be happy with that.
Especially PulseX, you're about 65% better than most people got with the $1,000. So congratulations.
Yeah, and it's like, and I got in during the sacrifice with not a small amount of money and had a pretty significant volume bonus multiplier. The price is below my cost now.
Right.
Yeah, same.
So right.
And that's the thing. That's why you got to be sharing it, so many people are not sharing this because they don't want someone else to get a better position than them or whatever through hubris or whatever you want to say. Quite hilarious in HEX or in Pulse or in PulseX or whatever the case may be. But guys, you got to understand, at the end of the day, look back at someone who told you when to get in. You know what I mean? Look back at someone who just shared the information with you. Obviously, you did the work and put forth the effort to go figure out more yourself to get it done. But I know I was shared RH clips to get in the early days. That's how it all started for me. And then I ventured down that path and went deep into the rabbit hole. And now I'm here. I'm happy to be here. And it's one of those things, share it with people. Again, you don't have to like hold their hand, tell them to go buy, do anything like that. Just say, hey, man, did you know there's this? Here you go. Here's some information on it. Go check it out. Do your research. So Side Effects is asking thoughts on the BlackRock BTC ETF. Did you hear about BlackRock starting a Bitcoin ETF?
Oh yeah, I was actually talking. It's funny. It's like, and this is where my money is. My money is, and my time is where my mouth is.
Yep.
I rented a car through Turo for this trip that I just took.
Yep.
Started chatting the guy up about crypto. Lo and behold, he's in with like various crypto groups. We're coordinating something now where like he's going to be maybe part of a meetup. We're going to be part of something that he's doing. I'm hooking him up with Maddie. I'm hooking him up with RG and his tour. So network. You never know who you're going to talk to that could be the next whale in the system. And so he was telling me about that last night. But because he's not like super into. He's loosely aware of DeFi, but like he doesn't have a Trust wallet. He doesn't have a MetaMask. He doesn't have any of that stuff yet.
2% of the population, you know what I mean?
But he's gonna, because it's like I'm gonna show him how that works. But I just found out about it last night, and I haven't had a chance to look into it.
Cool. Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting on that for sure, just because it's one of those that like BlackRock has their hand in everything. And now if they're wanting to make an ETF, that means they've built their bag big enough. That's all it means. And now they're wanting to share it with everyone, whether it's to get more investors so that way they can sell or whatever the case may be. Dude, they're about making money. They got trillions of dollars. Like, you know what I mean? And most of the time people look at these companies in a funny way, but so often you have to look at it in the same sense. Like people look to Godwell selling, doing whatever, but it's like, you have to understand he's got so many other coins he could sell from way back in the day. Wouldn't it make sense to sell those that have already got the 15,000x gains type scenario versus something that's got 1,000x gains? Hello. But I'm not going to get into all that. That's just how it works. Did you hear about Coast? And again, I haven't checked this out. So, this is coming from Side Effects.
Dope.
But he said, and Coach just tweeted out that the on-ramp is live. Have you heard anything about that?
No, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, I was lucky enough to be on Tangent's hilarious. Hex
Okay,
Tangent.
yeah, I love Tangents.
I was lucky enough to be on with him for 8 hours during Maddie's like 48-hour stream.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were clicking and laughing and like it was alpha 8 hours for sure. And we actually had the OX Coast guy on and did an interview with him. So I clipped it and it's on my Twitter somewhere. But I didn't think it'd be this quick.
Here in a second too.
Yeah,
but I was sharing this
I'm
right here,
finding
so
it
this is that way everyone can see. So Coast is live. It says it right there. Fiat on ramp now live. So app.0xcoast.com is there, and again USDC on Ethereum available. CST on PulseChain coming soon. So congratulations! Wow. I'm just gonna retweet that real fast, but. Anyways, back to what we were talking about. I know you have your screen share ready to go. I see it just pulled down.
Getting there. Hang on a second.
Okay, cool.
The right one.
We also have a couple more. It says, I love Bree, the homie. Shout out to BIC. There you go. From Lee. Tobi has me driving to the car title loan place right now.
Wow.
Not financial advice, bro. Not financial advice.
Car title loan.
Oh, shoot. How could it all go wrong? Not that it will, just asking.
Tobi, man, where is John Wick, man? I used to watch John Wick videos back in the day, man. That guy was
he's great, dude. It's super smart. I met him in Vegas in person. Really, really smart guy.
He doesn't have a channel or nothing, right?
No, he's always been like a Telegram dude primarily, and it's like, and I'm rarely on Telegram anymore.
Yeah, me too.
So it's yeah, unfortunately, I
good,
can't tell you on that one.
Yeah,
You never walk alone says, is getting back to all-time high a realistic expectation or aim, or is it weak? Should we be aiming higher?
Let's see. Oh no, dude, it's like, okay, here's the deal. Like, I mean, it's not that big of a bet because it's like I'm already losing my hair, but it's like I did say that within 18 months, if we weren't cumulatively $1 for HEX and PHEX, I would shave my head and my eyebrows. Just to show how full on crazy I am. Here's the deal. That date is approaching, and that's in the end of January 2024. I still feel confident that I will not have to shave my luxurious locks.
Let's go. Love it. Absolutely love it.
We'll see. Now, maybe it's 80 cents on one, 20 cents on the other. Maybe it's 50 cents on both. Yep. But I think we're going to, between the two, cumulatively, I think we're going to get there.
Absolutely love that.
Got you. Did you get your the screen?
I'm trying here. Let me see if this will do. There we go. Boom.
Okay, cool.
I think that should do it, maybe. Yeah, here we go. Cool. All right. So here's this big descending yellow parallel channel that we've been in for like a minute. And then all those like green horizontal boxes and orange and red are just basically indicating where these price markers are over on the right. That and if you go way back in the history of the HEX chart, those are previous areas of support and resistance. So those are what I refer to as horizontals that kind of give you an idea of like where there could be some support and resistance. So right now in the orange box, that's right around the 7.3 level, and we're popping above that. So we're in that orange box right now. You can see tons of action in and around that orange box. And then the yellow channel, the way the channels work for people that aren't familiar with just basic pattern trading TA stuff, you find a pattern like a parallel channel, which I really, really like. And typically when you break that channel, you will go the height of the channel in that direction. So these vertical yellow lines that you see are showing you if we were to break out of the channel to the upside or the downside, where it's likely to take us on a full, what's referred to as a measured move. So if we were to break out here in the next few days, that measured move curiously takes us up to like the 200-day EMA, I think that is. No. Oh, actually past the 50 or past the 20-day. No, that's an old channel. But it takes us almost to the next horizontal at 1.9 cents. So if we break out, that's almost a 3x, right, from here, if we break this channel to the upside. The other area to kind of watch on these channels is this dashed green line in the center, if you guys can see that.
Yep.
And that is the midline, right? So you can see where it's kind of bumped up against the midline and kind of worked its way toward the bottom, try to get above the midline, back down, above the midline, back down, above the midline, back down. So now it seems to be just riding that. I said in my last tweet that it's kind of like a tightrope walker. It's just walking right down that midline. And it seems like we have found some support on that midline, and now we're pushing back up. So top of the channel, like if we were going to continue, if this is a real move off of this midline, Top of the channel next target would be a horizontal at 873, and then the top of the channel itself is resistance, and that would be at about 91. That's 0091. And then, you know, if we break that with conviction, typically what you're looking for is a break of a pattern and then a retest. So like a good example of that, let me show you back here in January.
Yeah, it's a 3x plus staring you in the face, y'all.
Yeah. I mean, that's only to get us up to like not even 2 cents.
2 cents.
And like this big pattern right here, this wedge, this white triangular pattern, this wedge, that's been going on now. You might say, well, wait a minute, where's the rest of the chart, Toby? This is V3 on Uniswap. On Uniswap V2, it shows you the entire history of the chart. So trust me when I say that this pattern is legit. It goes to the top of the all-time high, which was back in September, which would be way back over here somewhere.
Right.
And so that pattern, we dipped below that in January, and then came up above it, retested it, bounced up, retested it, went up to 12 cents.
Wow.
Worked our way back down, had a little bounce, boom. This is where Buck Fiat dumped on everybody. I mean, he did. I mean, he said it, you know, whatever. It's like, it's his money. He can do what he wants to do. But that's the Buck Fiat candle. So he dumped, wham, all the way down.
Buck
And then
Fiat
curiously,
candle,
even with that dump, here's what's really funny. Where did it take us? Right there to that horizontal at 7.3.
Wow.
Isn't that wild? And then that is where we slowly, with the channel, worked our way down, and that's we're testing that region again.
Got you.
So it kind of gives you an idea of where people have buy orders set, right? Why did we wick up right here? There were orders waiting. I had orders waiting since January because I thought we might dip down that hard then. I had my limit orders set down here in case we really just took a shit.
Me too.
You know, right. You know, but the dip wasn't dippy enough. But it was this time.
Yep.
And I bet your bottom dollar and mine too that I definitely bought these dips.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, and it's like if we want to do the little measure on this, it's like, you know, if we, like from where we are right now, if we break this pattern and do that measured move, that's 150% from here.
My God, 2.5x right in your face, y'all.
Yeah, right there. That ain't bad, right? And then the thing is like, and that gets us back into this wedge. Now here's the moon math fun part. The wedge, the way that wedges work. Let me show you the other chart. Hang on a second here.
Yeah.
Load layout. Is this it? No. Oh, this one's more complicated, I think. Yeah, this one gives like, instead of just a midline, I've got like quarter lines and stuff in it. But like people start being idiots about it when I get to that because they're like, oh man, if you draw enough lines, it's gonna hit all of them. It's like, yeah, nice try. Play again another day, bro. That's how it works. Okay, so here's the full chart, right?
Right.
So here's the full chart where it's like we see the post big payday dump way over here on the left. That's taking us down to around 0.0022, right? And then we get all the way up here to the all-time high, which is around 53 cents. And then here's the wedge, right? And then on this one, you can see better here where it actually hit the bottom of the wedge. We actually didn't go below it on this chart. We hit the bottom repeatedly in January, rode along that bottom, right? Boom, boom, boom. And then boom, we're off to the races. And like from that, like that was from January to what? When was that? March? 685%.
Wow.
So here's the deal. If we get back into this wedge, we are likely to go to this high side of the wedge. Now, whether we retest there and kind of ping pong around or bust straight out, even to get up to here, if you look at that, which I think is highly feasible in the next 3 to 6 months, you're looking at 400% from these levels. Now, here's where it gets really, really, really kind of like, you know, I'm selling everything that's not nailed down. When you're looking at, earlier I was talking about the measured move on the channels. It goes the height of the channel.
Right.
With this being a big, like basically like a big bull pennant, this would be the flagpole over here. So what you do is you take that flagpole from your breakout. So let's say, like I was thinking this was the breakout, but we came up and we retested, and Buck Fiat helped us on down, and then everybody's panicking, and then we're the community's like, oh, HEX is better than PHEX, fuck off, and then everybody can't get on the same page with stuff.
Right.
FUD is fully in charge and we're below the wedge. If we get above the wedge, or get back into the wedge, excuse me, get back to the wedge, and let's say we break out of that wedge, it takes us a while, and we break out of the wedge. Let's say, just arbitrarily, let's go out to
like
August.
that time.
Let's go to August, right?
Yep.
Let's say we go all the way until like mid-August, just to randomly pick a date. Mid-August. We bust out there. The measured move on that is $6.
God.
Mm.
God. Damn.
So just so we can get an idea of like percentage move from here. I mean, if for those that aren't good with math in their head, measured move on that, if we do the full measured move, that is 95,000%.
Let's go. Let's go.
Bruh.
Let's go.
Now, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but these patterns have a way of playing out over time. And, you know, maybe we don't get there like in the length of this move, and we don't get there by June of 24. But June of 24 sounds kind of bullish, right?
Yep.
What else is happening in 24? The halving's happening in April. The next 6 months after the halving is when the full bull's going.
Yep.
June of 24, $6.
Yep.
You saw it here first. If it plays out, if not, I'm gonna delete my Twitter.
There you have it, folks. Yeah, man.
But that gives you an idea of like some silly, crazy possibilities, right? I mean,
Incredible.
Dude.
Yep.
Man, guys, you guys are very lucky to have this guy here. This is a phenomenal stream. Oh my gosh. I was laughing.
Fun,
I learned a lot, man. And, bro, you got a lot of wisdom and knowledge, bro. Like that's dope, man. We're very lucky to have you in this community, bro.
Absolute pleasure, man.
Yeah.
And guys, definitely go be sure to follow Tobi Wan on all of his socials as well. Follow him exactly like his name is showing on screen right there. Yep. Tobi Wan _HEXobi. You can definitely get it going on that one. And guys, he is here to share knowledge. Do not attack just for sharing knowledge. Again, he's not trying to FUD anymore. And he's not trying to tell you to trade. He's not trying to tell you to sell or when to buy. He's presenting information and you're taking it however you're taking it. So do a self-reflection and understand that you have to learn how to interpret the information yourself and then go do something to come up with your own investment thesis at the end of the day.
Yep.
Because
I
we
saw
can tell you to do stuff all day.
I saw a comment. Hexy Quinn called my teammate gay. I'm twiggered. I've been twiggered. So I'm gonna like go on a full-on cancel culture campaign to cancel Hexy Quinn for saying gay. It's like, what's the matter? And my brother was gay. Okay, all right. Are you saying that gay's a bad thing, Hexy Quinn? What's going on? Full twiggered, freaking out. Twiggered.
Oh my gosh, my goodness.
You gotta follow. You gotta follow Tobi on Twitter.
Yeah,
bro.
definitely be sure to follow, be sure to like, be sure to share, be sure to subscribe. Guys, come back and check it out. We are coming out with more information all day, every single day. We'll definitely be catching y'all in the next stream next week. Be sure to like, share, subscribe to get this information out with every single person who is in here. That way everyone can learn just like you did today. Thank you so much for being our guest, Tobi Wan West.
Thanks, guys. It was
always
fun
as well, my friend. And we'll definitely be catching y'all in the next video. Peace.
Yeah, I'm ballin' in this bitch. Yeah. Money stay calling.